Where's the airplane at?
Here
Okay.
we go. We're live. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime.
We're here. We're here. Hey.
I can't.
Hey.
I
Hey.
can't
Because
so
I didn't
bad.
have enough time to do it. You understand?
I can't so bad today. Hello.
Wait.
Good
Hey,
evening.
everybody.
Good night. Good afternoon. I don't know. I don't
Good.
even
Good,
know.
good.
Welcome.
It's something.
Welcome. Welcome to Nashek Hayil. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to our channels. If you watching us on Nashek Hayil, if you're watching us on Hayil Warrior, if you're watching us on the Healing Journey, we welcome you
Welcome
to our
to
120
our
days
journey.
of intention, this journey that we're in. And you
I think
have
I'm
to,
going to light some incense next week. I
I,
think it's going to be a
that
whole
would
vibe.
be very good.
Yeah.
To
When we
plan
can be back
instance,
together, when
I
we
feel
can
like,
be together, I think when we can be together, we're going to burn some sage. We're going to light some incense. We're going to go ding.
wow, you're now you done
Okay.
gone too far, Biggs. You done gone too far.
Sorry. Sorry.
Uh, like, I'm sorry if y'all joining us and we
Oh,
seem
yeah.
like,
And we acting
well,
silly.
let me tell you, sometimes you have to pump yourself up.
Yes.
Today is one
Yes.
of those days for me. I'm here, but like how we say in my community, when we kind of here, we be like Anipo, which means I'm here, but it's like
I'm here.
I'm here. Like
But
so
I'm really not here.
so I'm on an Anipo right now. Like
It's cool. It's cool. You
it's
showed
cool.
up. You
We
present. You
showed
was
up.
intentional.
We showed, and I
Because this
promise
is still,
you,
we
if
still in the COVID edition.
we are, we are, and I feel like today it ain't winning because it ain't gonna win, but
Right.
today though,
Today, though.
for me personally though,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
got a
Today's
little,
a
it got a
struggle.
little kick today. It has a
I
little
got a little, put a
COVID
little
got a
something,
little
something
kick
on it.
today.
It
Like
put a little something, something on it.
it put a little
Bam,
something
bam,
on. I was
bam,
like,
bam,
yo,
bam,
bro,
bam. Oh, thank you, Elisa.
hey.
She said we look good, though.
Oh, we
Go,
do. Oh,
Elisa.
thank you, friend. Hi,
Bam.
friends.
We're
Love you,
dancing.
friend.
We're
Thank you for the
happy.
support.
We're
I
going to see you soon.
yes,
We
friend.
still
Miss
on
you,
that vibe.
friend.
We're going to be doing a 120-day version in May
Oh
out in the good
yes.
old state of
Hey,
Washington.
Washington.
Hey, we're going to be in there.
Okay.
We're going to have Elisa. Okay, sorry.
Wrap it up.
Focus.
We act
Focus.
like we just talking to Elisa out here. Okay. Listen. Welcome to Nashek Hayil. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Thank you.
Welcome.
We hope that you are able to get something out of it. If you are returning to Nashek Hayil, we thank you again for the support, for the love, for the
Always.
encouragement, what you give. It's always appreciated. Don't forget to like, subscribe to our channels because
Comment, feedback, all that.
feedback is always welcome. Positive, constructive criticism. If you're gonna have
Yes.
something to say, make sure it's right. And I'm gonna say it like
But
that
if
because
not, it's okay because we're
it's
going to take what's needed and we're going to leave
no,
the
no.
rest
But
on the table.
sometimes, but I also say, you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Like some people mean well sometimes, but it's like, nah, check your delivery. So
Word.
I don't have, I haven't had that issue. And I'm always grateful for that. But I always think about that
Yeah.
because you know sometimes people, you know, they
Could
mean
be a
they
little harsh.
you
Mean
know they
well,
mean
but come
well,
off a little
but
harsh.
you come off a little harsh. So I'm always the one to ask questions. So if there's ways that we can improve this, I'm always open to that. By all means, hit us up, let us know, nashaykhayil@gmail.com. Again, welcome. If you don't know what Nashayk Hayil is about, we are women of valor. And our mission is to not only prove and to like show, but to also remember that we are women of valor. It derives
Absolutely.
from Proverbs 31. Most people know it as a Shet Kayil or the virtuous woman or woman of valor. I like the word valor because I think it holds a lot more weight. It means a force. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to be women of force, women of encouragement, women of change, to show our power. And it's a beautiful thing when sisters can come together in true
Yes.
sisterhood and build. So this is what the Sheikh Hayil is about. It's about building sisterhood. It goes beyond like that friendship thing because you know what? Your sister can be greater than a friend sometimes, or your friend becomes
Absolutely.
your
Keep your
sister.
sister.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Which
you kind of grow from that, and you have each other's back. And so we're trying to, one, dispel the myth that Black women or women of color cannot get along, because that is a myth that's been put out
Right.
there. I
And that
know.
we can't support each other and we can't encourage each other. And I
Yeah,
think, like we talked about last night, I don't have to dim my light for you to shine, and I don't have to throw shade on your light for me to shine, right? Because we in this
exactly.
together, and as long as we both shining, then we illuminate
We
as a
illuminate,
people.
because if you shine it, so right now your light is shining brighter than, a little brighter than mine right now, because I'm feeling a little dim. But your
So, right, I
energy,
got you. I
but your
got you.
energy is helping me, sister.
I am here for you. I got you, girl. I got you. So we are live and we are ready. And today is day 5 on our 120-day journey of
Listen,
intention.
how
And I
long?
will tell you,
Yeah,
um, we are still very much in our COVID edition. But
it's true.
to God be the glory. We're on the mend at this point. We're on the
We
mend, right?
are.
We
We,
are on the mend and
that's
we are
right.
continuing to push forward. And before you know it, you will be on the journey with Tamara and I out in the world, seeing our journey, our physical journey, as well as our intentional journey. But
Yeah.
until then, here we go with day 5.
Day 5. So, forgot to introduce herself.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
because
I
I'm
feel like the
telling you,
people know us, but maybe not.
all over the place.
Okay.
So, if in case you don't know, I'm Tamara Metia, aka Tam, and this is my lovely big sister, Stacy, aka
It's your girl,
Sissy.
Stace.
So, and together we are Tam and Stacy.
Yes.
And again, we're welcoming you to 120 days of intention, living a life of intention, trying to find ways to make changes in a life. And so that this came about because my sister and I have been on our own journey separately as well as
Hmm.
collectively, um, and trying to make certain changes in our life and implement things in our life, right? So it's not
And
always
manifest things in our lives,
manifest. I
right? And
know my
speak the life that we want, right?
word.
And manifest it and take control of that. Um, and being intentional, right?
And
Like we're
being
being intentional about every endeavor that we embark upon, everything that we do, the words that we speak, the activities we engage in, our thoughts, our prayers, all of that. We're being intentional. We're about manifesting greatness. So to go on this journey with us is to watch greatness unfold.
ah,
So get ready.
hey, I love. Ooh, you speaking my language. That's my love language.
Yes, honey.
Talk to me
Yes.
nice. Talk to me
All
nice.
right.
So we on day 5, sissy. Day
5.
5, 5, 5.
Wow. 5 days. 5 days of intention.
5 days.
5 days of consistency. 5 days of pushing through. 5 days of determination.
Clap, clap, clap.
5 days of showing up
I'm clapping
and
for that.
being present.
Yes,
Clap
and
for day
yes, clap
5.
for that. And because I don't want us. I'm glad that you said it that way, because yes, we have not. Not feeling great. And
Right.
even in not feeling great, because life was lifing and COVID was
Life is
COVID,
life and
we're still
we showed
here.
up.
We showed up and we were blessed to be able to show up. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you for
And
that.
we are the proof in the pudding that we are not only here giving you the content and sharing with you, but we are, hopefully the community recognizes that we are the proof in the pudding, right? So we
Mm,
are coming in prepared. We are being specific about our goals. We are being intentional. We are setting the time to work on our goal, to manifest that, to get our material together and to show up and to be present. And in that space, we also show up very honest. We show up honest with ourselves and we show up honest with each other. Like today, Sissy Tam, she's struggling. Like COVID is acting ugly today.
real
But if
today.
y'all remember when we started out day 1 and day 2, your girl was struggling and
Yeah,
she was holding it down. So we are here to show you that sisterhood, collaborative partnership, support and encouragement. It is possible.
it is possible.
It is possible.
Very much
And when it is in its truest form, it will manifest something beautiful. So again, thank you for following us. Thank you for participating in this journey. She is already starting to grow and develop in 5 days.
supposed to do it. Okay, all right. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Hype me up, Boba. Hype me
Very
up.
stupid.
My
So we're
cash
going to
is
jump in tonight. Last night we went a little bit long, but I think the content, I think the conversation was so great. We had some people join in the chat, and so we were really blessed to have that conversation and get some feedback and get some questions and answers going. So if you're watching us tonight live, please don't hesitate to jump in them comments. And let us know what you're thinking, how you're feeling. You know, we also need some words of encouragement and support. And again, if we can encourage and support in any way, we want to do that. So
absolutely.
tonight, we're not going to keep y'all too long, but we are going to make sure you get the good word, and we're going to make sure you get the good material so that you can stay intentional, so that you can stay focused on your journey. And
Right.
tonight's content
Tonight,
is all about the art of change.
the art of change. We kind of been on
Change.
this. I think things are. I mean, everything kind of is going together.
Absolutely.
It's been like, we talked about understanding and defining intention.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about identifying and setting goals. We broke
Goals. Yep.
down about ways and like smart goals. We talked a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about that and positive self-thought. And then what, last night we talked about not playing
Fear.
small, fear,
Not yep.
not
Not
playing
playing
small,
small.
how fear
Be it.
impacts our purpose and our process of change. But tonight we're
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about
Change.
change. I
And
guess
so
sweet.
yeah, so I think one of the things to kind of highlight is that there is an art to change, right? And so people just say, "Oh, I want to change. I'm gonna change that," or somebody say, "I curse a lot." I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna stop cursing." But like we said for the last 4 days, little mirror effect. Um, but like we
Working.
said over the last 4 days, if there's no intent, if there's no plan, if there's no determination involved, right? Like, what is the likelihood that you're going to actually change that behavior? What is the likelihood that you're going to actually, make a positive step towards your goal, towards your change, right? And so I think for me, it's really important that we convey in this process of intention is that we don't want people to think like, oh, we just woke up and was like, oh, I'm gonna be intentional and I'm gonna manifest greatness and that was it. No,
No.
it's some work that got to be done, right? And so we got to put that work in. And there are strategies, there are real strategies out here. There are real ways to think about this, to be very intentional and very specific. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about that. So we're going to talk about the 6 strategies of change, right? And what does that look like and what does that sound like? And how can we apply that to our lives?
Now that's a good one. Now most people probably think I 6 of them.
Right.
Gotta be 6, but
But when they learn what they are, they'll realize that again, it goes back to day one. It starts with your thoughts.
your thoughts.
So
Yep.
one stage, the first stage, right, of pre-contemplation, which is no intention to take action. It's just a thought. You
Absolutely.
just contemplate. You're not even really contemplating. It may be a passing thought,
Mm-hmm.
right? It may be something that ran across your mind, but you're not really thinking about it. But it's there, like it's sitting there in the background. Like, dang, is that something I want to work on? Do I need to work on that? Hmm. Let
Or
me think about that.
or Tim when she's driving. Damn, I need to work on
Word,
it. Damn, I
right?
need to
Or no, real talk, real talk. Or somebody post something or say something to you, and you be like, "Damn, I'm in a dark place about that. I might need to look into that."
Mm-hmm.
But it's just pre-contemplation. There's no commitment to it. There's no thought about it. You haven't taken any action. You haven't even begun to think about what would that look like. It's just something that kind of falls on you. I think for us, because we are very clear that we move in a very spiritual space in our lives. So I think for me, when I was thinking about the material tonight and how to make sure that we're connecting it for everyone and hoping that it resonates, I thought about the pre-contemplation also from a spiritual perspective. Like
Mm,
this may be one of those things that God just boom, drop it in your spirit. You don't even know
mm,
where it came from. You don't even know why that's on your mind. You didn't even know that was an issue for you. You didn't even know that was a problem for you.
true.
And then all of a sudden it just fell in your spirit. And it just sit there. And now
Mm,
you like, okay, all right, cool. No problem. All right, I'm gonna get back to that. Right?
right.
So you in your pre-contemplation stage.
Most
Which go
most
ahead,
people
Sissy.
most people, I was gonna say, like, even from my own like personal experience, but even like in working, right? Because we deal
Mm-hmm.
with the stages, these stages of change, even in the
Yeah.
field that we're in, and even in the past, used to be something like, especially I used to work a lot with substance abuse users, so
Yes. Oh, this is big in the substance
so
abuse
you know,
community.
with
Absolutely.
substance abuse community, right? So even with that, that would be something like that was like always a constant reminder that most of our clients are going to stay in pre contemplation state.
Mm.
And you now translate that to everyday life, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
most of us are stay in pre contemplation stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a thought you want to do something, but
Right.
lack of
And
intent.
there's so many things to do.
So it
There's
is.
so
It
many things
becomes
to do.
overwhelming. Maybe
Whelming.
it could be an overwhelming thought, or like you said, it's a passing thought. Like you know you need to do it, but it was like,
Mm-hmm. Right.
but then
Like, damn. Do I want to add one more thing to my plate? Like, I'm trying to master being a mother. I'm trying to master being a wife. Like, I'm trying to master this new job I got. You know what I mean? And now, like, you want me to do some self reflection. And then now here's this other thing. Like, bro, nobody got time for that.
nobody got time. So that's like just as a reminder, like, and I say that to say that as we go through these 6 stages, right? And having, and this is like to bring uh people into a thought process, right?
Mm-hmm.
To start
To
pre-contemplate or to
contemplating, right.
some things, right? And how to move and change. But that understand not to, go back to beating yourself up, because most
Right.
people stay in pre-contemplation
Yes.
stage for
Yes.
a long time, or you may have been in this stage for a long time. But
Yeah.
it's like, it's not to say beat yourself up about it, but as
Right.
we continue this journey, as my sister and I continue, even through processes and these stages, that you'll find ways and maybe to motivate you to come out of that stage and then be able to
Mm-hmm.
take the next step and move on to the next. So yeah.
Absolutely. And with that being said, even for us, we don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking on that. I think that's because
Yep.
that's a comfortable space for all of us. We
Yep.
sit in pre-contemplation. We're trying to figure out, like, what do I want to work on? What can I work on? Right. But like Tam said, you don't beat yourself up. Here we want to acknowledge, right? Like we talked about yesterday, let's look at the things that we fear, right? So fear shows up for me too in this stage, right? Because it's just a thought, and then automatically all the reasons why you can't will
Mm,
show up too, right?
right.
So then that kickstarts your fear, and now you just leave it and it never moves forward. So our goal is to support and encourage and show you how to move forward. So
Mm.
with moving forward, we go to stage 2, where we
Woo.
get to our contemplation, right? So now when you get to contemplation, look what the first word, intention to act. And a plan is in the near future. You don't have a plan, but you have intent.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm.
are ready to be intentional.
Yep.
You have decided, nah, this actually warrants some more work, some more thought. I got to sit on this for a minute. I got to
Mm.
think about this for a minute. I got to ponder on this. I got to figure out, how is this impacting the rest of my life? How is this impacting my goals? How is this impacting my elevation?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Mm-hmm.
now all of that's going. And now you're like, all right, I may have to work on this. I got to do something about this.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get to our contemplation stage, now again, because I always want to make sure we tying things together, my suggestion I offer, if you're at a stage of contemplation, you should have a pen and a paper,
Mm-hmm.
because you should start writing.
Or a big sticky boy like
Or a
me.
big sticky boy.
Big
Or your
sticky.
big sticky boy. I had a little intention tonight to show my wall size um, whiteboard, but we did a little cleaning. It's behind the TV, and I put the vacuum cleaners in front of it. So wasn't thoughtful. I had good intention,
I had
just
good
didn't
intention.
connect all the dots. So now you can't see it.
But I want to also,
We'll get there.
we'll get there, right? Mine is upstairs. Ain't nobody doing it. I want to talk, also this too. I think it was our day 2 when we talked about understanding and establishing the problem a lot of
Yes,
times.
yes,
Your contemplation stage,
yep,
just to tie our days together a little bit.
hmm,
That's where this happens at.
yeah,
You start to understand, and now you're establishing what needs to be worked on, and
right.
that's the beauty of setting a plan
Hmm.
so
Yeah,
you can work on
and
it for.
that's key, right? Like a plan is in the near future. So that doesn't mean you have it written out. It doesn't mean you have it all figured out, but you're acknowledging that something needs to happen, and so you start to have those thoughts. And it's better, I'm old school. Pen and paper works for me, but we got some millennials on the line, and just some people that are just a little bit more tech savvy than your girl. So
Yeah,
using notes, I have learned so well to use notes in this process. So that was one of my other intentional goals, to learn how to use my phone for more than Facebook and Instagram.
Lord knows.
Okay. So I have been utilizing more of the apps and things in my phone to be productive and to be intentional. So again, jotting down in your notes, using voice notes, whatever speaks to you, using that to help guide in your process, right? And to get your plan out. Just get it out of you and get it onto something concrete so that you can start to build on that.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Next.
So stage 3, preparation. And again, we've talked about this for the last 5 days, right? 4 days that we've been on. If you don't, if you're being intentional, you have to set aside time to prepare.
Yes.
If you have any desire to want to be successful at anything that you're doing, you can't just say, I want to do this, go do it, without preparing, without
Right.
thinking about it, without looking at everything that it will take to get from step 1 to step 10, or from
Mm-hmm.
A to Z, right? Because I don't want people to think like, oh, it's like this many steps, but just to get from the start to the finish.
Mm-hmm.
So you start out with your intention, you're clear about your intention. What is it that you want to accomplish? And from that point on, you can develop your action steps. You learn and you figure out what is it that you need to do to get from the beginning to the end. Too many times we jump into something head first. We don't understand all that it takes to complete the goal. And then when we get to that uncomfortable space or that unknowing space, we
Mm-hmm.
retreat
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't think about our action steps. We didn't know everything that it was going to require of us because we did not prepare.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think about the time we would have to put in, the number of failures that would possibly happen. How do we restart, right? Because everything you set out to do doesn't work the first time. How do I pivot? We had big plans, big plans. And then COVID was like, nah, y'all gonna sit home and y'all gonna do it this way.
Facts.
We had to pivot, but had we not prepared and
Right.
had a framework of our delivery, we would have been on day 1 like, okay, so what do we do now?
Mm-hmm.
But we had already looked at our action steps. We had already said, well, we're going to do this, we need to do this, and we need to do that. So in your preparation stage, again, it allows you to sit with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Tamara's favorite word, be honest.
Be honest.
What are you really capable of completing? What are you capable of doing? What are your actual resources?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because some of us have big dreams and we don't have the resources to meet them right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Right now, because you didn't
Right
play
now.
part of your planning process. Yeah.
Right.
And I
And
would
so
just
sometimes we got to step back just to get our resources together.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I'll just add to that an understanding that this is your goal stage. This
Yes.
is this is you setting your goal.
Goals. Absolutely.
So to make it that, blanket so you understand. So this even lets you get into how important the steps that you take within your goals are that leads to
Hmm.
your success and change or whatever that thing you want to accomplish. So as far as change, but change is, I mean, it's not because it has to happen, it's because you want it to happen. It's something new. It's a
It's
change.
so voluntary.
It's a shift. It's a change. You know
Yeah.
what I
It's
mean?
such a
So
desire.
it's a desire. It's a new desire. It's a change to something.
Hmm.
So if you're working toward that, if you have those goals that you want to set out, understand the preparation for it.
Yes.
This stage, this is your
It's
goals.
critical. Yep. Yep.
Very important that you
Yep.
acknowledge that.
Hmm.
Then once we get there, where we at?
Now you're at your action stage, right? Now we're talking about behavior change. And
Mm-hmm.
this is behavior change over a short period of time. And
Mm-hmm.
so again, as Tamara and I told you, like this process is also a process of vulnerability for us, right? Because we're welcoming you into our world and into our journey. And
Mm-hmm.
so, for me, I think Tamara definitely has a more physical, you know, um, she's more physically inclined than I am, right? Like coming, having military background and just like kind of used to that physical activity and just like working out. I was a little bit better at being chunky and just kind of being okay with that.
I
So they didn't
wasn't
really have a whole.
I wasn't I wasn't
Sorry, my
wasn't
bad. Because I was okay with it. You know what I'm saying? I got 100 million. I was kind of all right with it. But 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 I will say this: the conversations we had when I could be vulnerable and honest, my sister knew I wasn't okay with it. I wanted to be more physically active. I wanted to have changes in my behavior, in terms of diet, in terms of really committing to working out. But I was so pre-contemplation, like it was just a conversation here, there, but it was never no intention.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we were in a space, a physical space where we could physically do it together, and it worked with our lives,
Mm-hmm.
we made behavior changes over a short period of time that grew and grew. And we never said, "Are we going to work out every day?" We never kind of really said that.
No.
We just would get up every morning. Okay, girl, we walking. Or when we finish walking, it'd be like, "All right, we walking tomorrow. What time?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, it's very much a part of our routine. And we
Mm-hmm.
talked about that yesterday, right? Developing that healthy routine.
Yeah.
So we made it a part of our daily routine. And it's so crazy because I was doing laundry today, and I was doing the laundry, and I was like folding up I washed like the sweat clothes or whatever. And I was like, bro, like I can't wait till we get out and walk. Like
Yeah.
COVID is blowing minds right now because
Knowing.
I have gotten so accustomed to it. My body craves it. I need that fresh morning air now. Those conversations, like I'm missing that
Yeah.
because I had made behavior changes.
Mm-hmm. Which changed your mindset, right? So we talked
Exactly.
about, our thoughts, and our behaviors kind of going together. Um,
Absolutely.
it did. It changed the mindset to the point, like even when I'm out, I don't know about you, but I even start clocking the point. Like when I'm outside,
Hmm.
I make sure that I'm
Moving,
moving. Yeah, I
clocking
make
the
sure I'm
steps.
moving. Like now I'm clocking the steps. Now my
Hmm.
own way. I have my own personal goals. Like with that. Like so I gotta clock in at least minimum 10,000 steps that I do today. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like I've kind of
Yeah.
just put myself because now we've been doing that. We've
Doing
been
it
doing
right
it
without thought because
without thought.
we had
Like we've been
already
doing more
got to
than
that
that.
part.
So now it is intentional. Now it
Yep.
is part of the lifestyle. So even me being down right now, I'm like, yo, bro, do I have to? No, I don't have to stay inside. like,
True.
you know what I'm saying? Like, let's get ready, even if it's a little bit, do a little bit.
Yeah.
Today might not
Yep.
be that day.
Right. Right. But we back. We
However,
back. We back. This. Oh. But this is birthday week. So we coming out of COVID
That's
edition
what I'm
starting
saying,
tomorrow.
my man. My birthday's this
Today,
week.
yeah, today's the last day of COVID edition. And
40.
starting tomorrow, we are in full fledged
We got
birthday edition.
yes.
Right.
Countdown.
So countdown to the birthday.
I know.
So yeah, so we about to be turned up anyway, but we about to be back outside because we're breathing well and we're testing negative and we're hot
Yeah.
now. So we're gonna be back outside real soon, real
Jeez.
soon. Yeah.
With that,
So now we're at our maintenance,
yeah.
right? And this is the kind of like the stage where you and I,
Mhm.
our behavior change. We change behaviors. We're doing what we need to do, and then we're doing it over a long period of time. So now we're looking at our long term. And
Right.
I think even for us, like after we had walked like a couple weeks, and then there was mornings when we got out there and we were like, okay, today we're gonna take it up a notch, right?
Mhm.
Like we've been kind of averaging this. Now we're gonna shoot for a bigger goal. And we know that we can do that because we've already crushed the first set of goals,
Mhm.
right? So the goal is in the process of change is you want to do what you need to do to get to a space of maintenance where
Yes.
you're just maintaining your progress, maintaining your goals, right? And you're
Mhm.
also conquering your goals, knocking them out, checking them off. Like, boom, did that, take that off the list. Accomplish that, take that off the list. Because once you do that, then you start creating new goals.
Yes.
And the more new goals you create, that's the higher elevation you get to.
And not to and so and understanding, right? This is for these methods can work for every
And
facet of
of
life
your life.
for anyone, for anybody. So I think it's important because it's funny. Yesterday for the Shabbat edition, I talked about preparation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, and even in that, being preparing yourself, you know what I'm saying, for your spiritual space, like for your
Yes.
spiritual. That's what that was about. And I don't even when I thought about it, we it's like goals. Why don't we set
Yeah.
goals for those even those parts relationships?
Ships.
So
Yep.
we talk about goals and relationships. If you're
Mm-hmm.
single, right? How do you prepare yourself while single? You know
And
what I
even
mean?
if you're not single, right?
You're
Like
married.
even if
And
you're married, yeah.
well,
Some
and
one of the things,
or relation, right?
yeah.
Whatever that
One
you're looking toward.
yeah, one of the things I wanted that I do that we do in our marriage on our anniversary, we do try to sit down and say, okay, what's the goal for this year?
Mm,
Now, again, we're not perfect humans, so sometimes we don't always conquer that goal, but there's an intention there that in each year of this marriage, we want to set a goal as a family, as a couple, to accomplish, right? So that we can measure our growth and development too,
yes.
right? So when you're single, yes, what are the things you want to work on for yourself?
Mhm.
So that when you come to the table and a partner comes to the table, you can be like, well, here's the things I've worked on about me. So here's where I know I'm straight and I'm good. Here's where I expect you to be straight and good. But then once you get in that relationship, we don't want you to fall away from that.
Mhm.
Keep that same energy and
Mhm.
set goals within the relationship. How do we measure our growth and development? How do we know we're growing together? For
Right,
people
because
that are
it's like,
spiritual, right? Like we talk about being evenly yoked. How do I
mhm.
know we're remaining evenly yoked? Because
Right.
if I'm shooting for the stars
You
and
down
you still down here playing in the dirt,
here, girl.
then we ain't yoked. Somebody gonna get yoked. That's another podcast. I'm just saying.
They will have no sense. But even with children, and I'm glad that you said it as a
Oh
family.
yeah, Tony. Set some
If you're
goals.
a family with children, if you're single with children, if you are a blended family, right? These are all things, areas that everyone, what are our goals as a family? And it
Mm-hmm.
helps, I think, also to teach children how to be able to set goals, how to, how they look at and value relationships.
Ships.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? How do we begin to grow together and show even like that's measurable too. You know what I mean? By seeing
Absolutely.
the progress within the family. So this is for everything. So
Everything.
boom, boom.
And then termination.
Mm-hmm.
So once you are at that termination stage, which this word is kind of janky for me,
Yeah,
but
I'm like,
what
all
it
right.
means is that, right, like there's no desire to return to the negative behavior. So once you set your goal, you worked on your plan, you know your action steps,
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, all right, there's no turning back. I am not going to terminate from this process. I am staying on the positive track. I'm going to feed myself this. I'm going to eat, sleep, drink, walk, talk, my goals, my elevation, and it's all going to be from a place of positivity. Even the challenges, right? Even when life be lifing, you still got to be like, nope, I'm committed to this process. I'm committed to my goal.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are in that place of the process of change, that is when prayerfully you are also in a space to encourage others, um, and move life along. And that's when you're just kind of knocking them goals out one by one by one.
Right.
So again, those are your 6 stages of change. Um, and we hope, people are able to take notes and just, and again, just sit with yourself, because we're all at different spaces and time frames with this. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no rule book that says you have to spend a month in pre-contemplation, 2 months in action.
Mm-mm.
It's all according to you. So be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Look, sit with you. This is like being accountable to you and setting your goal so that you can get through these 6 stages in a healthy way for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And it comes with, of course, going back, being honest, being realistic, being logical, right? In this process. Um, don't set yourself up for failure. Set yourself up for success. Do what's necessary. I will also say with that, that I've kind of been hearing a lot lately is people worry about when to start something, right? You want to put a date, or and it is, I mean, sometimes it is good if that's the space that you're in. Um, you want to put a date to that. Um, Nothing wrong if you're able to meet that. But
Right.
sometimes just start.
Just start.
Sometimes you just start. That's the hardest part
Just
about
start.
any process, is starting. Once
Yep.
you get started though, begin to
The
watch
rest.
yourself see it through. That's the main thing. Keep it positive, because we keep talking about that, right? Positive
Hmm.
self-talk, keep it positive. But the biggest thing with most people is that you worry so much about when to start something that you
Start
don't.
right.
So if it's in you, if that thought comes into your head, excuse me, don't ignore it.
Hmm.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down.
It's
Get you a journal and write it down.
Put it in your notes on your phone. If
Hmm.
you're a person that's gonna look at it, don't put it in your phone and you know that you're not gonna look at it.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Know yourself. I
Don't
know
be Stacy.
I'll put it in my phone and forget it's in there. Now,
Right. That's
which is
why
why
me old school. Right.
I write things big on a board, because I need it to
Hmm.
slap me in the face every day, because I need that as a friendly reminder. Like, did you? Oh yeah, I did not do that. I need
Hmm.
to work on that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Hopefully, this is something that will help a little bit in everybody's process of growth and
Yep.
change.
Hmm.
With As always, when we do things, we always, like, I think my sister mentioned it, and we mention it every time. We add a little bit of our spirituality into a situation, because we kind of grew up with understanding that God needs to be in the center of all things and everything.
All things.
And if you want true success, and this is where we're coming from it, we make sure that that's what we do. We try to
Yep.
implement God in the situation. So
Yes.
today, we're taking it from Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 5, and it reads, "The thoughts of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to want." There's another way to say it. "The plans of the diligent make only for gain. All rash haste makes only for loss." And I kind of like how that kind of rolled off a little.
Hmm. Yep.
So this is what we're talking about: making a plan, being in,
Making a plan.
being intentional in these stages of change. Not having to be quick, like my sister mentioned, not being rash or hasty about it, because you don't want to set yourself up for failure,
Right.
but for success. So there's something that I also we showing love, getting love. One
Oh
thing that,
yeah, we got one other person. Kalila joined us. That's Mrs. Hope for
hey, that's
Life.
Miss Hope for life, right?
Yeah, that's
Hey,
Miss Hope for Life.
hey.
Check out her comic book store. We're gonna
Yes,
we're gonna highlight
I was gonna
some of
say
our
that too.
women. Yeah, over the next 120 days
20
for sure. We're
days.
gonna highlight
Yep.
some women of color that's doing some amazing things in the community, that have been intentional, that have set some goals and are out here crushing it. So please, continue to follow, like, subscribe, join us, because you will get to hear from from some of these amazing women. And Miss Hope for Life, we're gonna shout her out. She got an amazing comic book store out in Mount Vernon, New York. So we definitely want to make sure we are encouraging our sisters, supporting them, um, and encouraging people to shop with us, right? Because, like I said, when one sister shines, we all shine, and then we illuminate beyond control.
So with that, the idea is check us out on the Hayil at gmail.com. NASHAYGM, I mean, NASHAYCHAYIL at gmail.com. If you, for flyers, if you have flyers for your
Oh
business,
yeah,
now in particular, and I'm very specific, right? Because this is all about planning. So you will understand the organizational part of me is this. Um, make sure your stuff is together in any business sense, right?
yeah,
We want to be able to put up, and be able to describe what your businesses are about. We may call you guys, we may ask you some questions, we may ask you to join us. And this is the collective. I do it in particular in my separate community. I do it in my community. Ladies, we're coming back in March, so get your flyers out. My flyers coming out for that soon. But the idea is, this is what this is about: creating community, showcasing what our talents and our gifts are,
yeah,
encouraging each other to use our talents and our gifts in
absolutely.
positive of ways, and uplifting ourselves, and not only ourselves but our community. So just to put that out there. Many blessings to you too, sis. And the other part that I wanted to bring out real quick before we close out, because we're about to close out, is that there's a thought that came, and I read it somewhere too, and it was like a confirmation. You realize that we are creating the history for the next generation.
Generation. Yeah.
And when you start to put that type of thought process in perspective, I feel like things begin to change. How you move
Absolutely.
with intention
Hmm.
should have that a piece of that element in mind. Are you
Yeah.
thinking about the future?
Yes.
What about the future girls that look like us? What about the future girls, to prevent them from having to go through the ranks like we had to go through the ranks?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But on a flip side, there's hardships we didn't have to go through because of the generations that came before
Came
us.
for us.
We're standing on the backs of those women who came before us, who already went through a different type of struggle. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now let's create those doors of opportunity for the next generation of young women. You know what I'm saying? That's coming up, giving them something to look forward to, giving something for the future to look forward to. But understand that we will be their history.
Yes.
Let's create history. This is what we're
Hmm.
doing right now. So
Absolutely.
with anything, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe at Nashay Kyle on Facebook and YouTube, and our open content Instagram and Facebook page at Kyle_warrior. Please also check out my sister Stacy on Facebook at The Healing Journey.
And
Please,
at Linnell Heath. Yep.
at and at Linnell Heath. Please feel free to check her out there. Please continue to support us in the efforts that we're trying to make, because this is what we're about. If you
Yep.
can, donations is always welcome.
Always welcome.
Never ever going to sit here and tell you that that's not what we gonna ask, because what you see and what you see that we're doing right now, this is us. And what we would like to do, and my sister and I plan, again, we're expanding. My sister talk about taking over the world. I love it. I love it.
Telling y'all, next year y'all gonna be paying for this kind of content because we gonna be in arenas. Like we coming to take over Delaware, and that's just the beginning. And
Yeah.
we manifesting that, and we gonna speak that,
Amen.
and we are laying the foundation. We taking 120 days to lay our foundation, and
Amen.
we are being led by God. We are being moved by God,
Amen.
and most importantly, we are following God.
Yeah. Because He
Right. So
told us
this is what God placed on our heart, and this
Amen.
is where we are. So definitely, stay tuned for the greatness.
I love it. So thank you again for joining us tonight. Not to be too long-winded, we appreciate your support. We appreciate your help. Please feel free to donate at at Nashe Kyle for PayPal and $ Nashe Kyle for Cash App. Continue to pray for us as
And
we
check
pray
us
for
out
you.
tomorrow for day
Please,
6.
of 120 days of this journey. All right.
That's right.
Have a good
Peace
night.
and blessings.
Peace and blessings.